Yeah, man, now move settings nation, and we no need no ladder. Now, welcome to the channel. Yeah, man, Jayden Chase, and another one we're gonna bring on an exciting reasoning on the topic of current affairs. So if you're new to the channel, just a pass through, but you like the reason and of course you like the point of view, well, I'm suggesting to you that you click the subscribe icon and then kick in the like button. Now let's get right into the reasoning. Now, nation, attorney at law Isaac Buchanan and John Clark have pointed out that most of the court convictions handed out by judges have had constitutional violations attached to them. Now, nation, the testimony of two JDF soldiers has just put the justice system on blast. Now, the two JDF soldiers made a reference to are Lascelles Gardner and Horace Ellis, and their testimony is a very shocking one, nation. Now we have to discuss this in detail, viewers and subscribers. The testimony is very interesting. Stay tuned.
Well, he talk make, but Jayden Chase, they have to make the fans them know what really are going on.
Yes, nation, now let's continue the reasoning. Now, Gardner and Ellis pled guilty to losing public property and disobedience to standing orders and were both sentenced to over 600 days in the JDF prison camp in the past August. Now, what is shocking is that both the soldiers will be challenging their conviction on the basis that they were forced by the state to make a plea. They argue that their pleas were never voluntarily nor freely entered, nor as constitutional violations go. They are also seeking a declaration from the court to determine whether the ordinary court-martial falls under the constitutional stipulation of the independent and impartial tribunal as required by section 16 of the Constitution. Now, for years we have heard that we go on a camp, and they handle their own affairs, means them have them own jail system and them whole quota, you know what I mean? You know that's something they got. But seeing that Jamaican soldiers are Jamaican citizens, are their constitutional rights not valid? And based on the plea that they entered and that it was not freely entered, is it that's why the state can get JCF officers and JDF soldiers to give statements that they know are untrue? And why even after JDF soldiers and JCF officers themselves uncover corruption, why them keep it to themselves? This might be one of the issues. Now, the men also want the court to indicate whether their imprisonment is consistent with their current degradation of rights to liberty as listed and outlined under section 14, article 1 of the Constitution. And from Isaac upon the case, the government now can gossa and try come back around. So when they say Constitution, Mr. Buchanan know it. Now, the official story given by Lieutenant General is that in the past year, weapons had not been found and that the army had sought the help of the JCF. And essentially, that kind of made it a Jamaica issue. So it was no longer just a situation that took place at the camp, where camp investigators investigated and handled the situation. The JCF was called in. Now, the JDF had indicated that it would have reviewed its weapons protocol after a corporal who worked at the armory allegedly removed a weapon that was later reportedly used to take the life of his girlfriend in Greater Portmore, St. Catherine in January of the past year. However, to date, no changes to those protocols have been made. Some have been updated, but no major changes, according to one source. Now, to date, the Court of Appeal has reserved its decision on the application for the bail of the two soldiers, seeing that they were convicted by military court. Now, these violations of constitutional rights that always seem to take place in the court of law is alarming. The fact that your right as a citizen of a sovereign state matters not when you are in a court of law and the prosecutors are seeking a win and the judge is handing out sentencing. That is something we have to address. You see, the situation on the island is that most people want change. Think about it. People are not happy and content with their circumstances. Of course, naturally, they would want change. But the problem is, nobody now willing to make the steps needed to get us to that place of change. For majority of citizens on the island, them still claim and blame and say the system is corrupt, and yet still hope for that very same system to liberate them. We like to say the voice of the voiceless, but in this day and age we have media and technology, and what that has proven to us is that you don't have to be a celebrity to document and point out what take place in a your part of the island. As a matter of fact, news have a whole segment dedicated to just footage and videos that were sent in by citizens. But people still don't want to talk about them own issues or them own problem. Them still look for them MP for do it, them pastor for do it, artists for do it, and vloggers for do it. Sometimes I wonder the people now face these same situations themselves. For true change to occur, nation, it have to start on a mental level. Because think about it, some of our elected officials have been in power since the problem arose. We're not going to say alright, it's kind of recent. For years now, the country has faced these same issues with some of the same political leaders in both the party in power and in the opposition. The fact that the JDF soldiers testified that their plea was not even entered freely. Basically that when them a part of that system there, anything the system a deal that them a deal with. And the same thing with JCF. When the disc got missing in the Vybz Kartel case, everybody just said, boy, I don't know it could happen, you know. Because I guess the phone must be on top of the locker and anybody could have probably get to it. And nobody testified to the fact, say, well, that is not police protocol. That is irresponsible. And somebody should stand the penalty. These individuals, 2 soldiers, are 2 rifle missing up. Very serious issue. Vybz Kartel's phone was used to sentence him. Very serious issue also. But as I said, look like based on the oaths and the swearing in will take place during graduation, means that these officers and JDF soldiers are exempt from the law. And as long as they are sanctioned by the state, can do and say anything. But should that situation go the other way, the same state now has the same power to say, boy, it look like you did have it, plead guilty. As that is saying, no, your constitutional rights are your given rights right here upon the island. And no situation or circumstances should suspend that. Talk to me in the comment section. These are things that are not mentioned much. Most people are not aware of the laws that govern the land. Some people are not aware of their constitutional rights. And because they're not aware of the laws that govern the land, they're not aware or know when these rights are being violated. You can feel it. You feel the energy. You know, say, yo, the law couldn't write that way away. These people have been given power to do this. Sometimes, in certain cases, just like now, when the JCF has been given extra power, if you are in violation of one of these health protocols, whether you are aware that you are in the violation, yes or no, them can just lock you up and arrest you right there for breaking those protocols. Whether you mask for your chin or you're not a mask at all, them can just walk up on you. Even if you just come out of your own vehicle and you not put on your mask yet. Based on powers given under the JCF, them can just say, boy, yeah, put the public at risk. In the truck. Talk to me. I know you feel. Vice the one called Jayden, she's a dancer correspondent, the Gaza representative, and I'm reminding you know if you're new to the channel, new to the movement, just a pass through. But they like the reason, and of course they like the point of view. Well, I'm suggesting to you that you click the subscribe icon and then the bell icon right after that and put it on all. And this is how you know you'll be notified of all fresh content as soon as fresh content is uploaded and made available for you right here upon the platform. The like icon is also in close proximity to the share icon. Drop a like and bust a share. Tell a friend, tell them sister and them brother them for check out the channel and check out the reasoning. Join the discussion. Comment section up 24/7 never lack yet. Just be respectful and mindful of the guidelines. But other than that, drop your thoughts, your comments, and yes, your opinions there. And we can contain the reasoning via the comment section. Just be respectful and mindful of the guidelines, however. You know what I mean? But other than that, drop your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions there. Them things we are take place on the island, as I say, most people want change, but are not willing to voice their opinions. And that's how it take place. You know what I mean? Change have to start somewhere, and it now going to start with the people who we consider as the problem. You man now move settings, fam. And until we reason again, my sentiments for you and Joyce are going to live, love, and prosper.